Learning to Stories is a creative project that looks at the idea of implementing philosophy as a taught subject in Romanian school curriculum from grade 5. To give a more of an understanding, Year 5 children are usually around 12 or 13 years old and is the first out of 4 years of general school, which makes it similar to secondary school here in the UK. My role in this creative project is that of a project manager and a project creator. As a project manager, my main responsibilities include planning, monitoring, controlling, developing the ideas, and managing project delivery. As this is an individual project, I don't have a team to manage, so I'm just managing all my ideas directly. I would like to try to give an understanding of my vision and with it to give an example of how stories and humane studies are important in a child's life and in everyone's life. The reason behind this project is to possibly create something that can potentially change the school system of Romania. As Romania has suffered chaotic changes over the years in our political system, so did the schools and the curriculum. We have poor cities where children can't even afford notebooks, schools that are so poor they don't even have light or heating. We have children that need to travel absurd distances in order to get to school, and on the other side, in big cities, we already have holograms in malls or public places. There is a big discrepancy on what kids all around the country learn, and still no one focuses on teaching them to be humane. As I researched 5th grade curriculum, I realized how times have changed since I was in that grade 10 years ago, and how I was the generation in between the shift from communism and progressivism democracy.
Blăstarele țării, indiferent de graiul în care rostesc pentru prima dată cuvântul mamă, cuvântul patrie.
What struck me was that when I was in school, no one cared to look into the psyche of a child. No one cared to teach us what was about to happen next into our lives. We had over 12 subjects, but none of it taught us what makes us humans, or how to think or behave. There was a lot of pressure on us. They expected you to learn everything and be good at everything, to only think in their way and only act a certain way. If you didn't, you were misbehaving, and that was reflected on your grades, as teachers had the freedom to give grades based on likeness. Now, as I searched through materials from this generation, I saw that kids learn about the self, knowing yourself. As this is a huge upgrade, there are still things that shape the people and children of Romania, and that are envy and comparison. As a strong believer that stories shape our behavior and help us understand this fruitfully reality we are part of, I thought, what better way to explain to kids that they have different possibilities and so many other perspectives than their own than through stories that reflect on philosophy questions and studies. The school system of Romania divides in two categories, humane and real. Two branches, one that contains real subjects such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, and so on, and the other one, humane studies such as art, literature, music, etc. What is interesting is that even the branch is called humane, no one looks at the human and what makes him so. Philosophy is only studied in 12th grade, in the last year of high school, and only if you want to move forward to study it at university. Philosophy is inexistent and frightfully much needed. The concept behind this project is that eventually, much later, it will reach the right people and this new subject will be eventually added to the curriculum. But for now, with it, I will argue how important stories are through a website where people, no matter the age, will be able to interact with different stories. My role as the project creator was to transform the idea in something tangible. So what's happening right now is the creation of the website. As this can be a very difficult thing to do and most website creating softwares have a payment necessity, I used a free online website that gave me the possibility to show an example of my intentions. The way I thought the website is more like a forum. A story is posted and underneath it people tell their input. Anyone can post stories, anyone can comment, anyone has the freedom in exposing their own reality. As I worked on the website, I realized that this needs to be better in order for it to function as I planned. But having in mind the time allocated for this project and that there is no budget to work with, I had to try and make it as closer to my idea as I could. One of the issues was the URL. Instead of giving it a proper name, such as learningtostories.co.uk, because again there was no budget allocated to this, I had to stick with the one they gave me, which is just a combination of numbers and letters. I didn't like this because in this way it won't be possible for people to stumble upon it, and only if I work on another promoting project people will be able to find it. As the website is still under development, I'm still waiting for feedback. My option here without having to pay for it is to, as I said, work on promoting the website and help people understand what the website is about with an attached presentation next to the promoting poster. The best way to do that, as I thought, is to create a Facebook page for it, where I will not only promote it but use it as a second platform to protrude these ideas. By asking friends and acquaintances to help me promote this on the media platforms, with applications such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I think it will be easier to get people on the website. There is also urban marketing besides social media marketing, which seems like an interesting idea. But again, because of the issue with the URL, social media will be the best option, as you will be able to just click on the link attached. There is a theory called the network theory that, even though it's very vast, its main principle is to focus on relationship studies. What is important in a successful business is the possibility of relationship building. This theory describes the patterns and motives of people's interactions that lead to the relationships they create. Understanding human behavior is one of the most important things as a project creator, project manager, and also as a writer. This is a huge advantage for better connecting with people through content, and also this theory applies in the concept of this project, understanding human beings. By applying this theory not only in the subject curriculum, but in the development of the project, I am able to understand to whom I am making content for and adjust it just so. What moves this project further is the philosophical idea that reality is inexistent. The idea that what we are right now in this moment individually, we are because of our experiences in the past, our perceptions, and the ways we have been trained by our surroundings to think and see further. So what I'm arguing is that my own reality is happening just inside my head and no one else's. Your reality is yours, and around you there are millions of other realities happening at the same time as yours. You can't control someone else's reality. You can only understand what the reality is like, and one way to do that is through stories. I would like to acknowledge the fact that this project I'm presenting is only for exposing the idea and to show to what lengths it can go for now. The project can be so much bigger as I tend to grow next to it in order to make this happen. For it, I am aware of the quantity of research needed in order to propose a new school subject. As I plan on moving towards a psychology master degree and hopefully years of studying on this particular concept, this right here only reflects on how the idea blossomed and what I can create now with the knowledge I possess so far, which can't be categorized as much. What was interesting was that at the beginning I saw this project from an artistic point of view, thinking only on the thoughts and ideas, but not looking into the practical stuff. After changing my perspective and seeing the project from my actual role as a project manager, I understood that there is much more into developing your ideas and how these type of projects require a detailed plan, including probably a budget and a team of people to work with. In the future, as I hope I will be able to develop this on a bigger scale, I will keep a much more organized planner and try to work at a different higher level. What I learned about this experience is that it is quite hard to manage all these responsibilities on your own, and also that what I choose to do requires much more knowledge and research and more work over a long period of time. Going back to the website, as this is just a small example of my intentions, I think it can be a fun way to discuss issues among us. I hope that with this presentation, I managed to display an idea of what this creative project is about.